how is it that I can be creating these amazing results in my business and in my career, and yet in the area of dating, love, and relationships, I cannot get it together? That is the question that I found myself asking myself, laying down on a bed as tears were falling off the sides of my eyes, wetting my hair and my pillow, and I just couldn't figure it out. It was 5 years after my 12-and-a-half-year marriage had ended, a relationship that I was sure didn't work out because of him. And here I was, this successful woman, great corporate trainer, great corporate coach, mother of two, amazing friends around me. You know, everything was great. And yet I could not have a relationship with a man that I was really attracted to and who was really attracted to me. I would attract men, and if I really liked them, it always seemed like they didn't like me or they didn't want to be in a relationship. And then the ones I wasn't attracted to fell in love with me. And it was so freaking confusing. I was like, what is going on? I am a results producer. Why am I not producing results? And I thought to myself that the only other question left after that, after keep dating the same guy over and over again, different guy, same situation, out of a divorce, in a relationship getting out, just separated, alcohol problems, same guy, 5 different guys. Insert man. And that was me attracting him. And I thought to myself, well, all they have in common, other than biology, is me. So there must be something wrong with me. The thing about that question, what's wrong with me and why can't I figure this out, is it's not exclusive to single women. Because I had the same experience in my marriage. And this was my dream come true, prayers answered relationship, because I had been widowed at 27. And I was as sure that this is a chandelier and my name is Gladys, that I was never, ever going to love and be loved again. And here comes Rick. I'm a smart woman. I can't tell you how happy I was to be wrong, because he swept me off my feet. That man would look at me, and I felt like the entire world disappeared in his eyes. And then 6 years later, I'm standing at the sink, watching him watching TV, pissed off as hell, and making sure he knew it. So as he was trying to watch TV, I would take the pots and pans and the plates and make as much noise as possible. And then right above the clatter was my voice just high enough so that he could hear it. It must be nice to be able to sit down when you get home from work and do nothing. I wonder what it would be like to have time to myself and not have to do everything on my own. And it was oozing with sarcasm. And that man, who at one point could not take his eyes off me without taking his eyes off of the television, reached over for the remote control, pointed it at the television, and went, volume up, volume up, volume up. And I got in that moment that not only could he not stand to look at me anymore, he didn't even want to hear the sound of my voice. And it sucks to be lonely, but damn, it sucks to be lonely in a relationship. It's heartbreaking. And I realized something, because I too was a successful woman, youngest Latina VP in my company. I was proud of that, and my degrees and my awards, and my marriage was barely talking to each other. Forget about sex. The passion was gone, this whirlwind romance. I'm standing at that sink going, what happened? How did I get here? What's wrong with me? So you have a single woman and a married woman asking herself the very same question, what's wrong with me? And so we got really curious about finding out, why is it that this is not working? Why is it that in one area, the area of business and career, we're excelling as women, and then in this other area of love, dating, and relationships, we're not getting the results that we want? And what we found was a lot. And one of the things that we found is that inside of all of us, men and women alike, there are two types of energy. There's a masculine energy and there's a feminine energy. And they both have their purpose. There's both have their roles within us. But when we're over here in business, we are in our masculine. We are in control. We're getting things done. We're telling people what to do, how to do it, when to do it. We're giving them feedback so they can improve their results. And at some point, we're saying, you know what? We got to do it. It's getting done this way. And what we don't do when we leave work is transition from this masculine energy over here to this feminine energy. And we go home and we go out on a date or with our boyfriend or to our husband, and we are in control, telling them what to do, how to do it, when to do it, telling them what they can do to improve their performance. And at some point saying, you know what, this is what we're doing, get it done. Can you see how that doesn't work? Works over here, doesn't work over here. So for me, how it looked like at that point in my life was I was the one. I was the corporate trainer who you called if you wanted great curriculum developed, a kick-ass training program delivered. I was the one that if someone was stuck, you called me, I would coach them, breakthrough results. I was the one that could get it done. And then I'm going out on these dates and with a boyfriend, for those who were brave enough to stick around, and I was the one that would give my phone number first, or text first, or say, you know, we should go out. Because I was showing that I was a confident, assertive woman, to hide that I was terrified that if I didn't do that first, he never would. And I was the one that would go and clean their apartment, and go make an amazing meal, and go buy a wonderful gift that would surprise him, so he could see how amazing I was, to hide that I didn't think that this, what was here, was enough, without all of that noise. And it wasn't until I broke through and I took the time to go, what is that fear? Where is it coming from? And that I'm not worth it, what is that about? And I did my heart work, which we call heart work, not hard work. I did my heart work to get underneath the fear and through it. And in less than a year, I attracted the most amazing man I have ever met. He is my champion, he is my hero, and he looks at this and he knows what I know now, that this is more than enough and I have nothing left to prove. Because in love, there's nothing to prove. And as a wife, that day at the sink was a life changer for me. Because I could make it about how he wasn't being supportive and how rude, you know, to go volume up, volume up, volume up. And I realized that for years I was pointing out all of the things that he was doing wrong or that he could do better, AKA my way. Right? If only he would, then we could. If only he would change, then we could be happy. If only he would hear me, then we could communicate. And I had to have a conversation with myself. No, I didn't have to have. I chose to have a conversation with myself. And it came from my sister asking me one day, do you want to be married to him? Because I'd called her for the third time in a week crying. And I said, not like this. And that was the first time I hadn't said yes in 6 years. And she said, so what are you going to do about it? Because bitching, moaning, and complaining is not making a difference. So I turned around and I did my heart work. And I started to speak to my husband more respectfully, because in my world, disrespect meant throwing plates, hitting people. That was what we grew up seeing. And when he would say, you're so disrespectful, I would tell him to man up and get over it. I would say man up in another way, grow something, right? And I was slowly chipping away at the spirit of the man that I promised to love for a lifetime with my words and my being. Because he couldn't stand the sound of my voice, and I was starting to get on my own nerves. So I did my heart work. And one day I'm standing at the sink again. Lots of stuff happens at the sink of my house. And I remember it was 8:20, and I remember it was 8:20 because my kids had to be in bed by 8:30. And I'm looking at the pile of dishes. I'm thinking about the clothes that are slowly becoming raisins in the dryer. I'm thinking about the lunches aren't made, and my 2 kids are not bathed, which means I'm not going to be able to start my day at 8:30 p.m. And from a place of vulnerability versus complaint, I just said, I need help. And something amazing happened. He took his eyes off the TV and he looked at me. How can I help you? I didn't know what to say. It didn't occur to me that he would help. So I told him about the dishes and the laundry and the kids and the lunches, and he said, you know what, I'll give the kids a bath and I'll do the dishes. And he goes upstairs, and I'm going, it can't be that easy. 6 years of suffering? And he comes down the stairs and he goes, but one thing, and I'm like, there's the catch. There had to be a catch. And he goes, if I put the dishes in the sink, please don't fix them. And I went to say, I don't. And I couldn't finish the sentence, I don't do that. Because every time he tried to help me, I was correcting, and I was coaching, and I was telling him how it could be done better. So I got in that moment that it wasn't that he was unsupportive, not a partner, didn't love me, didn't respect me. I had been issuing obligations to help instead of invitations to help. And what he couldn't hear over the complaining was, I need help. Because in the business world, I was doing it all myself too. And it wasn't working anymore either, by the way. But I got it in that moment, and all I could manage to say was, okay, because I was still in shock that he was helping me and going up the stairs. He took care of the kids. He came downstairs, and he walks by the dishes. He doesn't do them in the 2.5 seconds that I felt they should have been done. And I said, Gladys, shut up. And what came out was, now we get to snuggle. And we did. We sat on the couch. What happened hadn't happened in a really long time. We held each other. And that was the beginning of everything turning around. It came through respect. And I could give you a list of things to do, but I have to tell you, it's a way of being. It's a way of who you be inspires him to want to become a better man for you. And so we want every woman on the planet to have that same experience. And whether you're single or you're married, here's a couple other things that we learned that were profound. Mm-hmm. Your man, my man, her man, every man does not want to be managed by his woman. They don't want to be told what to do, how to do, and when to do it. They just want to know that you appreciate them, that you admire them, and affirm who they are. Affirm the man you fell in love with every day. And the other thing that we learned is that there is a huge myth that men are afraid of successful women, confident women, smart women. Men are not afraid of confident, successful, smart women. They're actually very attracted to that. It's very feminine. What they're afraid of and intimidated by is a woman who is trying to change him into something that he's not. That's what they're afraid of. A woman is going to try and change him and make him be something that he's not. That's scary. It's scary for us too. So those are a couple of things that we learned, but we also want to leave you with some other things that we learned that you can actually take into your lives and apply them. And this is now the work that we do at Heart's Desire International through our programs for both girlfriends and wives and our single women. So when you have this experience of truly knowing that you know that you know that you are loved, it's magical. It's not magic. You be magical, and magical shows up. So we're going to give you 7 things you can do. We call them actually 7 ways of being. It's the essence of the irresistible woman, so that you can continue being your unstoppable force in your business and be the simply irresistible woman in your love life. So it spells magical, so it's easy for you to remember. And the M is magnetic. That who you be draws him to you so that you don't have to drag him to you. And the second one is alluring. It's a way of being where every woman wants to be you and every man wants to be with you. G is gracious. That you are able to ask for help or receive compliments, help, gifts, whatever. You're able to receive with grace and gratitude. I is for inspiration. Who you be inspires him and everyone around you to be the best version of themselves. C is confident, because there's a difference between being confident and arrogant. The confident woman knows who I am is enough. The arrogant woman thinks she needs to prove that. And A is for authentic, being your true, genuine, real self, and having the courage to be that in the world. And the last one is lovable, but spell it like this, all capitals, L-O-V-E, and then able. Truly able to love and be loved, so that the process of loving is this beautiful flow of giving and receiving, and love comes to you, through you, and from you, consistently and constantly. It has been a pure pleasure being here with you today. And I want to thank you, we want to thank you for allowing us to share our hearts with you. So, until our hearts meet again, always remember that you are loved.
Yes! The irresistible, unstoppable love twins!